the doctor told me to find the hobby to get off the couch. No. Well, I got a medical discharge, but I've been 100% disabled since '74. But I still get around. I have to. Otherwise, I'd be stiff as a board. I get off, but I can't do much too long. And last weekend I was at Sioux City doing a 3-day show. I tried to do one show a month. I think you met Jake.
Yeah, you're fine, Jerry. Where's Bob?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have taken that.
How did you like when I was doing outdoor flea markets, I went down there a couple times, 95, to that I-44.
We like figuring for that kids, grandkids, trying to get them to move down there.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. As I said, we want to be able to know who's here and who's next to you, why you came, and all that sort of good stuff. And this is a time when, really, if you want to talk for a half hour, we may be gone by the time you're through. But please say anything that you think would be helpful for each of us to know about you, your situation. And since we started here last time, why don't we start here with one L.D. Kennedy.
L.D. Kennedy, I'm sitting next to Jerry Reitzman. This is my wife. I am here with my wife, Zayruik Hosmau. I'm here with my wife, Petra, of 41 years.
Could I say something here right quick, though? At the last reunion, everybody had their back to the camera. So you can introduce yourself and turn around and face the camera if you would, please. Thank you. I got a good picture here. I'm not worried about you.
On second thought.
Thank you.
Okay, are we done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Thanks.
Jerry Reitzman, my wife Carol's with us, my wife of 37 years. And my granddaughter said we could come out here to see you guys. Life has changed. Nice to see everybody. Very pleasant.
Bernie Guy. I'm living up in Lincoln. I sing in the Lincoln Continentals. Have any barber shoppers here?
Right there.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
Used to be. Used to be.
And recently I was inducted into the Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame. Wow. And what else? I'm 67 years old.
Yeah, right.
I'm Wilma Sawyer, and I recognize a lot of these people from having had you in class in homeroom. Thank you for inviting us to the reunion. It's fun to see everybody.
I'm
Zelda Stevens. Glad to see you all, and thank you for inviting us to the dinner.
I'm Deanna Davidson Klein, and I left all my family at home and here by myself. And I live in California, and I'm getting ready to retire.
Joanne Whitnall Thomas. And I am retired. I'm Jane Spence Peters, and I live in Lincoln. I guess you'd have to say I'm retired. I'm not sure just what category to put myself in, but it's very nice to be here.
The little lady is named Ruth Jones.
Really?
She came with me.
Poor girl.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
I'm Gladys Tally of the Cove. I'm glad to be here. I'm a tech supervisor.
I'm Sharon Ruth Phillips, and I'm here with my husband Terry from Los Alamos, New Mexico, and we're enjoying the weekend, seeing all of my old friends.
I'm Linda Lockwood Baker, and I'm here with my husband Jim. We have 3 sons that are in Kansas City, and we're going down to see them tomorrow because they're going racing. I'm still teaching, and I hope to do that for about 5 years.
I'm Gail Christensen Berkey, and I am a stay-at-homer. I brought my friend Judy from New York today, and my husband Gary. He told me that we were married 43 years. 43? I'm not even that old. We know you were a child. Wait, you have to wait.
Oh, sit down.
It's okay, I know she
Old
brought
people.
me. I'd like to say hello. It's wonderful to be here. It doesn't seem like it's long again. I still live in New York City, and it's always wonderful to be here and see everyone.
Laurie Bartels from Lincoln. This is my wife Ruth Ann. Good to be here with all you guys.
I think your shoulders are broken.
That's muscle.
Okay, Harvey.
Okay.
We start with you, your turn.
I'm Harley Dickerson, and I'm here with my wife, Libby. We're up here from Oklahoma, where we don't have to fight the snowdrifts.
Oh, sit down.
And we've been married for 43 years, but we've been running around together for 45 years. Had to go to California to meet somebody from Kentucky.
No, Harley, we've been married.
We're glad to be here.
No, Harley, we've been married 40 years. We have 3 grandchildren, we have 5 grandchildren.
You won't buy that.
No.
How long you been running around?
I didn't meet him until he was 21.
We can't top what Harley just come up with here, but I'm Larry Williams. This is my wife and classmate, Jeannie Robinson. We've been married for 44 years.
Oh yeah, at times. Only at times.
I'm Jan, I guess I have to say Reimer Gertz, and I have been a member of this class, and I'm married, and I live in Michigan. I left my husband at home, and so I could have more fun. And, we've been married 42 years.
I live in Lincoln. I brought my husband, Brad. We've been married 39 years at Christmas time. And we may be the oldest new grandparents in this room, so, and an only grandchild. So if anyone has time, I think.
I'm Marge Higgins-Pinner. I brought my husband Harvey, and we live in Loveland, Colorado, and we've been married 44 years.
I'm Jenny Reimer, and this is my husband Ed. We live in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota, and we've been married 43 years, and it's good to be back and see you all again.
And I'm Mary Quackenbush Garrison and my husband Jack, and we're not separated.
He's just sitting with my wife.
I'm Bob Grody, and I'm doing a lot of international work. I'm not retired, and we're doing a lot of work in Africa, South America, and so on. And I enjoy what I'm doing. I live in Houston, Texas, but I'm still a Nebraskan at heart.
Before Terry says it, I was given a bunch of blonde jokes I was supposed to share with you. But since Bob showed up, I really couldn't do that. Terry.
I'm not blonde. I'm Terry Sharton. I live in Santa Monica, California. I've been married 38 years. I have 5 daughters, 2 still in college, 7 grandchildren, all under 4 years old. Live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm still working. And I'm delighted to be here. I couldn't be happier.
From Little Rock, Arkansas. I have 2 daughters, 3 grandchildren. So good to see you all morning.
Roger Bartlett, you know my ex-wife. I'm homeless in Colorado.
I'm Larry Hausman. Skinny, they call me. I've been making me slowly bionic. I have a new knee, a new elbow, and a new hand, and shut up, Harley. A new shoulder, and my wife has been around me for 42 years putting up with all this shit. See? My wife, Joanne Beach Hausman.
I'm Betty Klaus-Mans, and this is my husband, Charles. I haven't strayed much from around the area, so within 6 miles.
Gerald Jansen, my wife Regina. I stayed around here all this time too, so.
I'm Gloria McMaster Hasmar, and I'm here with my husband Dean, and we've been married 44 years. And we have 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and we recently, 5 years ago, moved from the farm into the attic.
I'm Joni Griffith-Smith, and nobody knows me because I only went to school here through the 8th grade. But Mary Quackenbush Garrison graciously invited me back. It's good to see some of you that I know. There'll be a lot of people that I don't know. And I want Bob Grody to be careful because our son is with the District Attorney's Office in Houston, Texas, and don't make any mistakes.
Okay, this is it. I'm Harley Calvin. This is my wife Linda. Of 14 wonderful years. We have.
You got your back to the camera.
That's right. I already have this thing. Okay. Between us, we have 7 children, 20 grandchildren, and I'd love to have you help with Christmas presents. also moved out in the country instead of from the country in. So we did it
you
backwards.
farm now, right?
No.
In the room.
I'm Barbara Linneman Swanson, and I left my husband of 44 years in town. I mean, I didn't leave him. He's at home. And we have 4 sons and 9 grandchildren, ages from 18 to 1 month.
I'm Bernice Briggs Ullman. I'm retired and getting ready to head south for the winter again. So.
I'm Ron Miller. This is my wife, Jean. She's the one that did the book. All I did was
Did excellent.
I'm Nick McKibben. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and this is my wife, Loretta, of 44 years. And I retired from Enron Corp, and I'll be taking up a collection at the door.
Well, I'm John Rosenberg, and I went to school with a lot of you from kindergarten up through the sophomore year. And then my parents moved out to Loveland, Colorado. I'm here with my wife of 40 years next month. And I've never gotten Beatrice out of my blood, and I feel like I'm really home.
I'm Mark Clausen, and I'm here with my wife Lillian. I guess we've been married 33 years. I married somewhat late in life, so we appreciate that fact. We have 3 children, a daughter and two sons, the youngest of which is still in college, which means that I can't quite retire yet. We live in central Kansas near Wichita. Good to see you all.
Terrence Hawkins, and I'm here with my bride of 18 years, Bonnie Sanders. And we live in Sacramento, California. This is the first one I've been able to attend, and it's really good to see everybody.
Gerald Simpson. I'm disabled. I have a son and a daughter and 2 lovely granddaughters and a strapping 1-year-old grandson. And I dabble with antiques. Anybody wants any old stuff, I have.
I'm Joel Williams. I'm here with my wife Sherry, and I guess you could say I married late in life too. We've been married 5 years.
Bill Vanover, and we've been married to my wife Joanne for 43 years. I retired. She couldn't take it anymore, so I had to go back to work. We moved to Springfield, in Springfield, Missouri for 10 years. Like a bad penny a return, get them all the way. But we're sure happy to be here.
Dwayne Oatman, my wife Cheryl. We've been married 41 years, and we live on an acreage in South Lincoln. Thank you.
Ray Snyder, Vincent Miller. This is my husband of 39 years. We retired and moved back home here. We've got 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandson just a couple years ago. Nice being with you.
I'm Lorraine Carpenter Black. This is my husband Leland, and I'm back in Beatrice after being in Kearney for a couple years. And I'm glad he isn't, but anyway, I am. Glad to be here.
Now, Bob's
Just a minute, John.
Make sure he's in front of the camera, John.
I will. I'm Jerry Wanick. I lost my wife to cancer 6 years ago. We were married 29 and a half years. No kids, but we did raise 4 Cocker Spaniels.
Thanks, Jerry. What about Mary? You did?
About,
Was
yeah,
it
we
good?
already heard her, yeah. Anyway, Bob Grody was telling about a shaft, a heating tunnel that went from the high school to the old junior high. Maybe Hardy Dickerson went in there with him? Huh? No? He probably did. Who else?
I think he did, yeah.
Who else may have done that?
Wasn't me, I'm innocent.
You lied.
I believe Brad Blakeway did, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been in there.
Not with him.
Not with him, though. Good for you. Good for you. All right.
Dad worked there, remember? Curly Carpenter. High school. He was custodian. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, it's
I was there with my dad. That's
your daddy. Now I find. No, there are so many stories that each of us can rehearse in our minds about what we know that's good about each and every one of you. What we know is probably a good thing we don't talk about. Most of you too. But the memories are just great.
You still have one?
Let me see. No, it left in '86.
Can you draw a clock?
But it's this type of a gathering that lets you remember some neat stuff. I mean, even our waitress, I'm hearing, was married to Butch Jenkins. He grew up, what, 4 blocks from me? We got in a lot of trouble. We didn't get caught in a lot of things, but
Thank goodness.
yeah. Remember the old Sondrager house that had the castle? Yeah. Now we just got a great big library, but that holds a lot of hay. Yeah. But there are just so many neat things. Now, this New Yorker here. Whereabouts in New York do you live?
Manhattan.
Where?
89th Street.
89. East or west side?
East.
Used to be a nice dance hall in '86.
All right. Hey, that's old stomping ground. That's fun. To even think about different places like that. Anyway, Jerry, if you would take time to rehearse with us the number of our classmates that are deceased.
This person kind of hates to read, but unfortunately it happens, as we all know. We have just a moment of silence, please, and I'll read the names. Shirley Aiden Snyder, Louise Bingley Walker, Eldon Brownwell, Marvin Corey, Eva Diggs White, Phil Douthit, Karen Engelbretson Evans, Ralph Eugene Gacho, Nancy Hacker Hurd, Ronald Jenkins, Gerald Morgan, Jimmy Payne, Martin Robke, Evelyn Schultz Rudder-Vogel, Rodney Schutte, Robert Buckwillett, John Williams, Eugene Wright, Donna Karstens, and Dean Spilker. That's the current list that we have. If someone might know of someone else that's not on this list, you might let us know. We'd also like to acknowledge that there's been quite a few of us, myself included, that have lost spouses, and so we don't forget those people either. John?
In lieu of Wayne Witt, we have Mary again. By the way, Wayne's wife had surgery day before yesterday, a couple days ago. Serious surgery, but is doing well. But he needed to be there rather than here, and I wouldn't argue with him. Go ahead.
I'm not going to use this, but you're going to have to raise your hand if you can't hear me, because I don't voice project. Not you. We have money in the treasury. We have over $4,000 in the treasury. And that's what we're here to talk about, is how we're going to spend it. Of course, some of this has to go for the meals tonight, for the books, and for the meals tomorrow. But we are doing quite well. And by tomorrow night, I should be able to give you a more exact total. Anyway, what we want to talk about several things tonight. Now this is where everybody says, oh, you can grow. Okay. We have a few issues that we need to talk about. But first of all, I too would like to welcome everyone. And our special guests, our teachers. We're real pleased that you can be there with us tonight. And thank you so much. And of course, the spouses. I'd like to thank Jerry Wanick for all he has done on the email. Now those of you that still live in the dark ages and do not have email, we cannot keep in contact with you. So if you decide to see the light someday and get a computer and get email, then we will hook you up into our system and you'll know all about everybody all the time.
And if they want to be a real cheapskate like me, they go web TV for about $250 and still go online. Okay.
Anyway, he has done a wonderful job keeping us all. And Wayne has done a wonderful job for us. He is making money every time the interest rates go one way or the other. He's down at the bank and he's making changes for us. So he's done a great job. I want to thank. I want to thank Marie and Lorraine. They have been real sleuths for us, and they find people that, well, goodness, we had no idea where some of these people were, and you've made some contacts. So I appreciate that. We appreciate what Ron and Jean have done with the book, and yes, you will get your money. We had our first planning meeting November 18th, and we had a nice little group there. In addition to some of those that I named, Jane and Linda and Dee Dee, I believe you were all there at that meeting, and Joanne. Joanne has done a wonderful job being our contact person. So it takes a lot of people to put on a show like this, and I do appreciate what they have done, and I think they need a hand. Please help me. And if you look through your book tonight and find that you know where some of these people are and what their address is or some way to contact them, please let us know, because we do want to keep them in the system. We're hoping that the next reunion that we will be able to have more of our classmates and some of the lost ones. And either contact me or contact the Beatrice High School Administration Office. Now you know they're not going to move. So you can always contact them. They keep a running list of everybody's addresses. When we finish with this reunion, I will give them a book and they will put all these new addresses into their system. So please let us know if you know of anybody too. Or if you have a brother's uncle or some such deal that has a contact with some of these people.
Mary, could I interrupt just a second
yes.
here? When it comes to the high school, now I have not sent the high school the email addresses. I know a lot of people don't like to have a lot of people have them, because sometimes those things get out there, you get all kinds of spam. So the email addresses I have kept strictly to the classmates. Now if you'd like to have me give to the high school, I'd be most happy to do it. But as of yet, I have not done it. So it's up to you. What do you think? As a general group? No? Okay, great.
So when I turn in the book, I will say, do not use the email address.
Exactly.
I'll do that. I will do that. Okay, the reunion in 2007.
Mary?
50 years. Yes.
When I searched for Larry Morgan and found him in Florida. He asked me to tell all of you hello. He has to be here in November, so he was sorry he couldn't be here now. He didn't want to make the trips. But he wished everybody well, and he sends his hello to each of you. Also, when I talked to Cora Jane Bartlett, she's now in Sun City, Arizona, or a suburb of Sun City, Arizona. She also sends her good wishes to each of you and is sorry that she cannot be here with you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any messages along this line? Okay. Now we can talk about the reunion in 2007. Do you have a preference? What time of year? When would you like to have it? We thought if we'd have it in September now, that surely everybody would have been retired by now, but we found a few that are still working and teaching, so they were not able to be here. But hopefully in 2007, no matter what time of year we pick, we should be able to get most of you. Do you have a preference? Do you like September? Would you rather have Nebraska June, Nebraska July? You like September all right?
Let's go Vegas, September.
Well, this goes into another area that we want to talk about. There has been some suggestion that perhaps we could have an annual reunion inviting the class of 1958 and the class of 1956 to join us. And in the the specific 5-year increments, then we would have our special celebration, but we would still be able to see people in other classes. And then we've also had the suggestion of having it different places in the United States. We have a lot of Colorado people here. Wouldn't they love to host this?
You bet. If everybody would like to travel or would like it, so be it, We do. Texas isn't that far. New York, that could go anywhere.
That's not far.
Central, other than Nebraska, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good idea.
So this is something we'd like to see if you would be interested in doing this on an annual basis in perhaps a different location, or if we do it on an annual basis, inviting another class. We need some discussion. You don't have to tell us now. We will ask for your decision tomorrow night. So we want you to talk among each other and come up with some ideas on this. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, some of you have signed up for this tour at the school. It will take place. So meet at the high school. Those of you who do not know where it is, it's out there where the outdoor theater used to be.
Ah, she knows that one.
I want to take my name off. There's something going on at 2:30.
Well, I know. Is that what time it starts?
2:35.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Well, there'll still be a core group if you wanna go. There will be a tour of the school at 3 o'clock.
2:35.
What time was it, Mary? 3. And if you still don't know where it is, we can show you. Okay, the Beatrice Education Foundation still is asking groups to donate money. Now, I understand that they have a lot of scholarship money, right? Yes, okay. And what they need is maintenance money or money for special projects in the school, or you can just, instead of having restricted and designated donations, you can have undesignated donations, and they will use it as they see fit. And last time we had our reunion, we voted to donate, but then we decided we would wait until this reunion. We'd sit on that money a little while and gain that wonderful interest. And make the decision this time. And if we donate, they have levels of giving. There's a $500 level, $750, $1,000, and $500. All those levels, you get your name on a plaque. And that's what we want. We would like to have our name, the class of 1957, on a plaque on the wall in the school. So when you visit the school tomorrow, look around and see what it's like. See if you can come up with an idea among yourselves how much we should donate after you hear the treasurer's report. So that's something to think about tonight. I think I'm dealing through this Chris Nelson, who is the business manager, and some of you locals will probably know who he is. But they're very receptive and very happy to have our money. So we will use it wisely for the school. Okay, those of you who have not signed up for tomorrow night's dinner, please let me know. It's not too late. If you're having a wee of a time tonight and you're really enjoying yourself, feel free to let me know, and we will put your name on the list for tomorrow night. That will be at the Eagles. You all know where that is. If you don't, see me or see Jerry.
I will be in town tomorrow.
Okay. And there are sacks back at the back table there, mostly for out-of-town people. They're Beatrice promotional items. So if you're interested in some ideas about what to do tomorrow with all your free time, if you're not watching the football game, then feel free to pick up those sacks, please. They're from the Chamber of Commerce. At this point, I don't have anything else. Yay! But I will have a report tomorrow night about how much in the Treasury, and we'll ask for some of your decisions on what to do. Okay? Thank you.
What's the deal on the picture?
Oh yes, we're just going to get together someplace, whatever we can do as background, and we'll have to put it there and clear some tables out.
Okay. Just figuring out where we're going to have our picture taken. Here someplace, I guess.
Yes.
Who's got the camera?
Everybody has cameras. We do not have a professional.
That's scary.
I would like to give me time to set this thing up, because I can take the video and put it on email and send it down the line. So we're not here, I can take a group picture this way. As long as you don't move for about 5 seconds, then I can put it on email. But I have to do it with the video.
But we'll move some of those tables and some of the spouses. We have no professional photography.
I don't know. You ready to move for a couple minutes here? We're running.
Okay, hold your breath. Gerald, Terry,
Hurry, everybody. Okay.
Going smiling now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got the video rolling?
Video's rolling.
Okay, hands out. Hands out. One more. See, 6 more.
Good pass.
Wait a minute, Dad.
How many more?
Thank you.
I don't know.
You've been in there? Yep.
Yeah, Jack Smith, I don't know, I left my wife home so I could go out tonight. And have 6 boys, and basically still in Beatrice, getting ready to retire maybe one of these days. And I'm a recycling engineer, or what you call a junk dealer. So. And I'd like to thank the people that did all the work to put this on.
We live in Lincoln, and Fred is retired from university teaching for about 3 years, but he has become my helper. He bakes bread, he cooks my dinner for me, he does all these wonderful things. So he is also restoring a 71 Cutlass convertible, and we're coming to visit all of you as soon as it's finished.
Now, Ruthie, were you going to say something?
Yeah, the grandson is fine.
Oh, you have a grandson?
We had one that was going to the hospital just when we left to come here, so I've been waiting for that call, which was timely. Bronchitis, and they gave him meds and sent him home. So. Good. Did you brag about anything else?
This is the one that left the hospital name is Josh. His older brother's name is John. His dad's name is John. John has a sister, Janice, who lives up in St. Paul and has four boys. And her older sister lives in San Jose, California, and she has 2 boys. So we know what it's like to have 8 grandsons. But where do granddaughters come from? I don't know. But we're having a delightful time. We've been married forever. Go ahead, Sharon.
I'm Sharon Drew Phillips. I introduced my husband Terry last night. One little known fact is that 2 years ago, the government had a controlled burn in Los Alamos, New Mexico, where we lived, that got out of hand and destroyed 400 families' homes, I think, and got within 10 feet of our house.
Oh. That was good. Did you start it?
I'm Karen Kuhn-Mattheis. My husband Dennis, we're living in Lincoln. I'm a nursing assistant in a nursing home, which I just love. He works in a walk-in emergency clinic. We have 7 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. Now I have pictures.
Well, I'm Deanna Davison Klein, and I'm not as prolific as everybody else. I've got one son, and he's got I've got 2 step-grandchildren, and he doesn't plan on having any children, so I would never, get to hold a baby, but that's okay too. The grandkids call me grandma, so we get along beautifully. So, and my husband's at home with my son and the whole other family.
And home is?
California.
All right.
I'm Jan, and I only go by Jan. This Janice is driving me crazy. Reimer Gertz, and I live in Portage, Michigan, halfway between Detroit and Chicago. It's a suburb of Kalamazoo. And I have 2 children. I have a daughter who lives in Dallas, Texas, and 2 grandsons there. And I have a son who lives in St. Louis with another grandson there. And we too don't know what girls are like. So I have to say, hey, that's the way it is. But we love our grandsons.
I'm Marge Higgins-Penner. We live in Loveland, Colorado, and this is my husband, Harvey. We've been married for 44 years, and we had 3 children. We lost our son at age 22, and we have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren, 2 boys and a girl.
And a girl. Well, things ain't changed a lot since last night. I'm Joe Williams. I'm sure.
Larry Bartels, my wife Ruth Ann. We live in Lincoln. We have 3 daughters. Our youngest daughter is married. She gave us a granddaughter, 17 months, and she's going to have a sister in probably April.
That's enough.
Here we go.
Wait a minute. I'm Harley Calvin. This is my lovely wife here. 14 years. Do all of you remember how many? Then we have 20 grandchildren. We have boys and girls. And I'm not retired. I forgot that last night. We're still working. We're in Colorado out in the country. If you want to come visit us, call ahead.
I'm Mary Clackamush Garrison, and you don't want to hear about all our kids and grandkids. We have a whole nest full of everything. But we'll get all our girls to meet your boys, because we have a lot of girl grandkids. We have, I have 6 children, and Jack has 6 children, and it's not cheaper by the dozen. And 27 grandchildren.
Going to be great grandma in March.
Go ahead.
I'm Terrence Hawkins. I live in Sacramento, California, and I'm retired from a dairy processing plant. I work sort of a self-taught engineer, and we also had 6 children, or I have 6 children. My wife has a daughter also, and we have 8 grandchildren. We kind of taken a tour. We stopped in Black Hills on our way here. And after we leave, we're going to go down and spend a couple of days in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we're having a great time. And I second Jack's, whoever's did all this work, we all owe them a real debt of gratitude.
My name is Ron Miller. My wife Jean, and I think we've been married 42 years, I believe. I think so. And we have 2 kids. We've got our daughter Rhonda lives in Kansas, and our son Heath lives in Lincoln. We have 5 grandchildren, 3 boys and 2 girls.
I'm Lloyd Stevens, my wife Melanie, and I've got 2 kids, 2 children. One's in San Francisco and the other's in Kansas City.
I'm Dale Linsenmeyer, and this is my wife Kathy. We live here in Beatrice, and we have 4 children and 4 grandchildren, 2 boys and 2 girls. So I can explain that to you later.
Pink booties are there?
I'm Mark Clausen. I grew up a neighbor to Dale, so we had to renew acquaintance. Anyway, this is my wife Lillian of some 33 years. We have 3 children, a married daughter that lives in California, and a son who's an airline pilot in Atlanta, and a younger son who's in college right now. So anyway, we have not been to one of these reunions in all these 45 years. So some of you have changed a little bit. But it's good to talk with you and see what you're doing.
Okay, I'm sitting by my brother-in-law. That's my husband, Charles, and we've been married for 42 years. We have 4 children, 8 grandchildren, 4 girls, 4 boys. I don't know. Anyway, we're retired dairy farmers. Don't have to get up at 4:30 in the morning anymore.
I'm Ginny Reimer-Entz, and that's my husband, her brother-in-law. We live in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. We are full-time RVers. We live 6 months in Black Hills and are in the south for 6 months. We do summer forest contract service work yet and have for 5 years, I guess, and taking soil samples and what have you. So we still have our hands in what he did all his life, and I'm finally finding out what he did all those years. We have 2 children, 3 grandchildren, 2 boys that are 16 up here and 12 here, and they have a 6'4" 4.5" daddy, so they're big kids. And a little girl that's 4 in Denver.
I'm Marilyn Penner Epp, and my husband Richard is here. We have 2 daughters and live near Fairbury, Nebraska. And I, like Harley, am not retired. I still am in education, but as a substitute. And as I said to someone, I've done this now for 16 years, and I think I'm a real glutton for punishment. The interesting part about this is I get to see some of your grandchildren in the classroom on many occasions.
My name is Bob Grody. I've only made one reunion. That was the 25th reunion, and haven't been back since. But I'm a geological engineer and travel internationally quite a bit. I live in Houston, Texas, because of the oil and gas businesses located there, and I'm very dedicated to mining and oil and gas and mineral exploration in general, I might say. And I really appreciate all the camaraderie that we've had here for the last 2 days. Thank you.
Hi, fellow classmates of 1957. He's so impatient. We're supposed to cooperate tonight, I promise. I think that we are all very lucky to be a part of this class. Where are you, over here? Okay. Is this better?
There you go.
I think we are all lucky to be a part of this class. I've been so impressed with the resumes that everybody has sent in. And you have all lived very interesting lives. You ought to sit next to Bob Grody and listen to all the things he's done. Man, I think he's lucky to be alive.
I am.
He said tonight he was a man with 9 lives. So that was a lot of fun. I did come with Judy, or she brought me tonight. I came with my reluctant husband. He was very disappointed after the game today. And he didn't want to come.
What game was that?
Yeah, I know. You know, after 45 years, I think we've all learned something. And I think our current Cornhusker coach has learned that he's not Paul Osborne. And I have learned after all these years I'm not a rocket scientist.
Okay, Judy Langree. I think I filled everybody up last night. I'm still in New York City, been there for a long time. I do interior design, my own business. I also in golf, and what my real love is a studio called Isabel O'Neill, where we do both finishes, but in the way they did it in Renaissance.
And the guild system.
I have one daughter, one grandson, whom I adore, and it's really been wonderful to be here. It doesn't, I know I shouldn't say this, but I don't know where all those years went, because it just doesn't seem possible. I still remember everybody just as I knew them then.
I'm Dick McKibben. I live in Omaha and retired, and I've been down here all weekend hunting for old girlfriends and have found none, so I guess I struck out, but I still have the same woman I brought last night, my wife Loretta, of 44 years. So. And it's good to see you all.
I'm Karen Zitlow Probst, and we still live down on the farm by Odell, and we're not retired, and I don't know when we're going to. We have 3 children. Our oldest son farms with us. Our other son is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and our daughter lives in Plymouth, and we have 7 grandchildren. We have 5 granddaughters and 2 grandsons.
I'm Callie Owens, and this is my husband Ronnie, and we're newlyweds compared to the rest of you. We've only been married 6 years, but we have 13 grandchildren, 6 children, and 4 great-grandchildren.
Celebrating our 40th anniversary in June. We have 5 grandkids, 4 girls, and 1 boy.
Roger Bartlett, Mary was talking about all those kids she's got. Well, I'm responsible for, what, 6 of them? And like Joel said, nothing's changed since last night. I'm still home.
I don't think I have to make speech, I'm in the blue. I'm Dwayne Altman, my wife Cheryl. We've been married 41 years. We have a son and a daughter, and we live on an acreage by Lincoln. And my wife works at Lincoln Brian LG West, I can't get it around. And I put in my time at the U.S. Bank Park Garage. Thank you. Good to see you, everybody.
I'm L.D. Kennedy. This is my wife, Petra. I retired once as a career Army officer. I retired the second time as a Public Works Director in Adams County. Monday, I'm retiring for the 3rd time out of the Department of Military Affairs and a little Social Security. And I have 2 daughters. One's a captain in the Air Force Reserve. The other's married to a United pilot who is also a F-16 fighter jock, which Pico will understand what that is. And they follow in the old man's footsteps. We're leaving for Germany in about 12 days.
And 2 great. Jerry Reichsman, my wife Carol. We have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and 2 grandkids. Been married 38 years and live in Castle Rock, Colorado. Nice to see everybody.
I'm the short one of the group here. I'm Larry Hausman. We live in, where do we live? Omaha, outside of Omaha, towards Fort Calhoun. And it's on an acreage and so on. And she's been with me for 42 years, for God's sakes. You know, she's taken care of me through thick and thin, gave me 2 kids. And in the last 2 years, you can't believe this, gang, but I've gotten 5 grandkids. One that's 12, one that's 15, one that's 8, and 2 that are a year and a half. And the 2 that are a year and a half are twins, and they are fantastic. The others, you know, they're boy and girl. I can explain that one to you, too. Anyway, I've been a teacher all these years, and some of you have said, what? A teacher? Yeah. Well, I taught at Omaha Central, and I gave you guys all of these running backs. Amon Green, Calvin Brown, Calvin Jones, and then they let them get away, and today we lost. So, what can I say? No, I'm not going back to teaching. I'm going to stay retired.
I'm Harley Dickerson. This is my wife, Libby. We've been married for 40 years, and had to go all the way to California to meet this hillbilly. She's from Kentucky, Littleboro, Kentucky. But we've had 40 wonderful years together, and 2 boys, and our sons are spread.
4 and almost 5.
Yeah. Our sons are spread all over the country. We got one in Connecticut and one down in Austin, Texas. So, and the one in Texas was clear out in Bremerton, Washington, and we're glad to see him so close to home. Only about a half a day's drive. But we have had a wonderful life together. But it all started here in Beatrice with all of you guys, and we remember all the good times. And I've sure been here a time or two, sitting around the house in the evening, talking about some of these terrific times we had way back when we were all a lot younger and, well, had a lot more fun, let's just say. Thank you all. Thank you all for such a wonderful evening.
Are you going to get around there and talk again?
This part up. I'm Jerry Wanick. My wife, Sally, and I were married.
Get in the camera. In front of the camera.
Let's see, I gotta line it up first. Okay, about right here.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I was on last night's tape.
You're going to be on tonight's show, too.
Okay, I'm Jerry Wanick, and my wife, Sally, and I were married 29 years. She passed away 6 years ago with cancer. We had no children, but like I said last night, we raised 4 beautiful Cocker Spaniels.
Now, last night we read the list of the members of our class that are already deceased. And I understand we missed one name, and my short-term memory says, I don't remember who that was you said it was. Jim, as in Clausen. All right.
Hey, Jim Clausen.
Would you like to read him and his name
Right, I'll read
and
the name
address him?
You're not taller than I thought you were, John. The classmates we've lost through the years, Shirley Aiden Snyder, Louise Bingley Walker, Eldon Brownwell, Marvin Corey, Eva Diggs White, Phil Douthit, Karen Engelbretson Evans, Ralph Eugene Gacho, Nancy Hacker Hurd, Ronald Jenkins, Gerald Morgan, Jimmy Payne, Martin Robke, Evelyn Schultz Rudder Vogel, Rodney Schutte, Robert Buck Willett, John Williams, Eugene Wright, Donna Karstens, Dean Spilker, and as we found out this evening, James Clausen. Then also, there have been a number of us, including myself, that have lost spouses. I hesitate to go into names there because a lot of them I'm not aware of, so I don't want to forget anybody, but a lot of spouses have been lost through the years.
That's rather sobering to think about. Yeah. You know, as I listened to a lot of you speak on how we were lucky and how things fell together, I'd urge you to replace that word lucky with blessed. We have been blessed. I mean, there's a lot of things we had a hand in choosing. And there are a lot of other things that we just got. I mean, I don't know of anyone who chose their parents. And I don't know a whole lot of parents, if they had the chance, would have chosen us as kids. But as someone did choose, and we have been the ones that have been blessed because of that. Each of us being involved in each other's lives. That's not luck either. It's kind of neat blessings. So make sure to say thank you to the one who did make those choices, and be able to praise him and to continue living your life acknowledging him. Now, that wasn't in the program. Okay, now the next thing on my list here says that there's going to be our report from Mary. Yeah, come.
Okay, once again, I thank you very much for being here and making the effort. I know that many of you have traveled quite a distance, and it is wonderful to see you. I told you that I would have a treasury report. There is a complete report over at the display table, and if you haven't been to the display table, be sure and check that out. There are some neat pictures from yonder years. Anyway, briefly, as of October 17th, 1997, Wayne deposited $1,839.84 in the bank, turned them into CDs. And January 7th of this year, after a few minor expenses were taken out, we have $2,294.55. Then we've made deposits, and we've had expenses, postage, the dinner, the Legion dinner, and all that last night. And we have some estimated expenses, tonight's charges, the books, postage, and we have 2 people that let us know ahead of time, so we returned their money for meals, which should leave us in the vicinity of, this is about as accurate as we can come, $3,152.37. So, bearing that in mind, we have some business to talk about tonight. But first of all, before we do that, I want to thank John, Jerry, Joanne, Lorraine, Marie, Ron. They were all very, very helpful, and I know that there were others that have had a hand in helping to plan this, and all of you who have submitted email addresses and found some of our lost people. If you know of others, or if you know of any corrections for the book, please let us know, because we do want to keep in contact with everybody as much as possible. We had a nice tour today, not quite as many people as we thought, but there were about a dozen of us that toured the school, and I think it was very nice. Did you enjoy it, those of you that were there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was nice to see the wonderful facilities that they have. Jerry is our email coordinator, so keep him posted of any new email addresses that you might have. That is really the best way to keep in contact with each other. And if any of you move, change your addresses or whatever, either let me know, let Jerry know, or even the Beatrice High School administration office. They are keeping a running log of all the addresses. So they will not be moving. We don't know what our future is, of course, but they will not move, so you can always let them know, and we will check with them. Now, we have a little bit of business. We have a reunion in 2007. Last night, they decided that this was kind of a nice time of year. September was a nice time to have it back here in Beatrice. So we'll probably plan our 50th here in Beatrice. If you are not contacted by March of 2007, please let us know. Write that in your calendar. And we're thinking, we had a suggestion last night, and we might carry through with this. We might have put together a picture album, a picture booklet. So that's something to think about too. And we had another thought about having an annual get-together, perhaps in a different place. So these ideas are still floating around. You may be getting word that we are gathering in Colorado next year. The Colorado people are just so excited to host us. Right, Harley?
Murray, do they provide the free beer?
Oh, without a doubt.
Coors.
Anyway, we might be the jeans crowd then, so that should really get you excited for going. But we'll let you know. Is anybody interested in doing this? Besides those of us at our table. Good. We'll see you, Bob. We might get a busload. We might make that an option. Or we might just all meet out there. We're thinking.
I'll be there by myself, you know.
Well, there can be number 6 wide.
Oh, well.
Right?
No comment.
Okay. I've done that and that and that. Okay, the tour today, we discussed a little bit about the Beatrice Education Foundation. This is something we have to talk about tonight. We have over $3,000. We don't want to deplete it all, of course. But if somebody wants to start the discussion about donating this, part of this, to the Beatrice Education Foundation. We decided to do it 5 years ago, and then we thought we better sit on the money and gain a little interest and wait until we knew about what the high school wanted to do. They still don't know, but they do want our money. They'll probably put it into a common pot, and they will use it as they see fit. But we will get recognition. Yes, Terry?
Let's see, one thing that a couple of us talked about, I'd like to offer up. You know, we have a very famous member of our class in Paul Henderson III, who's not here, but he sent his vita, so you will have it. You know, he won the Pulitzer Prize, which is no small stuff, and he did it for a very noble work of getting someone off death row that was wrongly convicted of murder. And I was thinking that this would be a nice thing for the high school to recognize in some way, put in their Hall of Fame or something. And that maybe just possibly a little priming of the pump or tying it to our gift or something. If we can, I don't know if he would be willing to come and talk to them or something, but you know, that would be nice.
Certainly, that's a very good idea, because he certainly has outshined most of us. Larry, did you have a...
Well, I think we should offer up maybe a couple $1,000. They're not interested in a scholarship though?
I guess they have tons of scholarships. Now, if you want to think about a scholarship, maybe we could present a 2007 graduating class scholarship and just have a one-time deal.Maybe a $500 scholarship or something like that for that particular year. Yes, yes.
My sister's on the Educational Foundation, and she's
Sharon, do you want to use this?
Can you all hear me?
No.
Darn. My sister's on the Educational Foundation, and she mentioned that they have a lot of scholarship money, but they don't have enough working cash. They do things for teachers and classrooms. They have a mailing of the there's a report. Pardon?
The October report.
The report that comes out yearly, I believe, everybody gets a copy of the report, and I think the cost for the mailing is $6,000. So that's a lot of postage and stuff. So they really do need money to help them just to work and to give things to teachers and to classrooms and things. Yes?
Is that the one where they ask you to nominate people that graduated from classes?
You know, I'm not clear, but I'm going to mention Terry's suggestion to Mickey, because I know she's also on that committee that chooses people to recognize. So I'll bring that up to her tonight, because I'm staying at her house. Anyway, that's what she said, that they're really short on money for the report and to give awards to teachers in classrooms. They buy equipment for teachers and that sort of thing, and students.
Janice?
Well, I think a generous contribution, how people can hear me. I think a generous contribution is great. My question was, what have some of the other classes done? The other classes?
They have given, their names are on the boards. I don't know all the amounts.
So we don't know that. I think 2,000 is a great idea. I think instead of sitting here on this money, we need to put it into some workable, so that they can be recognized. We can be recognized as a contributor.
Yes, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just a thought, and it would be to put a newsletter out once a year with, I mean, you know, it takes a lot of work. We have to get people involved and everything, which, you know, I realized what you did and everything, you know, it took a lot of work. But, you know, and then everybody, at least you could probably keep up with your addresses and kind of what happened and who died, but, you know, maybe we're, you know, 45 years already, 50, who knows?
That's true.
But
There is the
it's
Beatrice
just a thought.
Educational Foundation does have a
Yeah,
newsletter,
they put
but I
that.
think that's about once a year.
Yeah. But I mean, you know,
You need a class newsletter.
just the class of 57 newsletter. And
That's a good
just,
idea.
you know, 1 page, 2 page, just a newsletter. I don't know, just a suggestion.
That's a good idea. Yes, Larry?
You know, since I have been a teacher for a long time, some of the things that they do with money bothers me. Because what they usually do with that, they'll put it into a computer. And I've always been one that spends money on kids, and I think every teacher in every system spends their own individual money. I think the people we had, like Bernie Guy the other night, and Sawyer, they bought paper, pencils, and things like that with their own money. Now, if you give it to the total organization, now they'll put that in a pigeonhole and say, thank you very much, class of 1957, but there should be some way. A scholarship doesn't necessarily do it. That's an ongoing thing. But I'll bet you this, Sharon, you could say this yourself. How many art students you have that couldn't afford pencils and graphite pens and pastel chalk and things like that? But how many mathematicians have we got in there that now they're working with calculators and things like that? Terry, I think you probably are a prime example of what you do with instrumentation, you know. And some of this stuff just goes into the system and they say thank you very much for buying this computer, and that's the last you hear of it. But something that will actually help kids, and as we were helped, is something that's needed, I think, more than anything else.
So have it directly for the students.
Yes. It should be something that you can draw from. Or they can buy, teachers can go to that fund and say, hey, I need $50 for this or whatever it is, and just have an open fund that anybody can contribute to, but just make it for the teachers to use for kids.
Good idea.
That's a unique idea.
Good idea.
Yes, Larry?
Do they have a list of recommendations of things that we can contribute to that a committee could evaluate?
I don't know. I asked them today in the tour, and they had a wish list. And one of the items on the wish list was that they had a German teacher. Well, you know, that's a little difficult for us too, and that would just be a one-time thing anyway, so.
Because I personally don't want to be buying stamps.
Agreed. I agree.
And send some teacher on a vacation, quote, meeting.
Agreed.
I'm in favor of the committee, whoever it might be, to go over some evaluations of the list that they might have accumulated.
Yes.
With that in mind, let it accumulate, decide in 2007.
We did that 5 years ago.
We can have a real good party.
Yes, Marie?
A pot could be set up, specified for children in need or youth in need. And the
With some
teachers know who's low income and who's not. And then have a guideline saying they have to show where they're getting WICs and getting food stamps and that kind of stuff, just like they do when they go pick up their stuff.
If I may elaborate on it just a bit, we could do that and also have maybe 2 or 3 members of the class here to kind of oversee it, to make sure it wouldn't get abused.
I don't know if they can allow that. Does anybody know?
If it's in the guidelines, they have to allow it, if that's the way it's specified.
In other words, I mean, they really wouldn't have to necessarily give us a name or anything like that. A particular need or something on this order, and then the committee can more or less look at the need and go guidelines that way.
How many $100,000 are we worried about?
Well, there again, it'd probably fall into a one-time deal only because interest right now wouldn't pay much on $2,000.
But if $2,000 went in with earmark for the students, I think we could trust the system to do that. Rather than say we have 2 people who are going to spend 18 hours a month for 3 months to make sure they do it.
Yes. You're right, Gary. So where should we go with this?
I don't think we're after recognition. I think it ought to just go to the school as they see fit. $3,000 isn't going to make or break it. So it'll help school, and that's where it needs to go. Put it in their general fund. I don't know if we need a plaque hanging on the wall, but we're going to make a lot of difference.
Well, you will get some recognition on the wall for those that kind of money. I think it's over 250, then you get either a leaf or a rectangle or something. You want to take a vote?
I'd like to make a motion to leave it in there and let it accumulate.
There's a motion on the floor to leave the money in the bank and let it accumulate. There's a second. Is there further discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor of leave? Yes, Harley.
I'd like to ask one question.
Yes.
In the order of discussion. If we should come up with someone should come up with a viable idea, let's say a year before next reunion, and we can make contact with another classmate, and could we vote on this over the net or by mail or however to do something specific with it, if we are able to structure a fund, a project, whatever, that seems to be acceptable to the class. In other words, I don't want to be tied into this, just leaving it in the bank now until the next reunion, is what I'm saying. So give it just a little bit of flexibility there. Anybody else?
Do you want to amend your motion, or shall we vote on the motion as it stands? Okay, we'll vote on the motion that has been made and seconded, that we leave the money in the treasury and worry about it in 2007. All in favor? raise your hand. Oh, boy. I count 18. I see one doing this. You want to count too? Can you count? Can anybody
Well, it's
count?
been a while since I went through math.
Do it again. Stand up. So I can see it a little higher. Some of them we won't get up.
Stand up, easier.
You want to stand up?
I've got 19.
You need to stretch anyway. 19. Okay, those opposed? 13, 14, 15. It looks like it's 15 to 18.
Did you count the chats?
Field goal.
Nebraska. We don't have Chads in Nebraska.
We hung next.
Okay, no,
We leave.
we leave it.
Good, you know.
Yes, Farley?
Can we still do something as far as that thing with Pete and that? I mean,
Oh, yes, I think that would be separate. I think we still need to make the recommendations for Pete. That might be one way to get him back here to see us. Okay.
Receive that.
Yes, yes, that's what Terry's talking about.
If enough people would write that in as a recommendation, I think it would sway the committee.
I move that we allow enough money for a plaque to do this, to honor Pete, provided that the school does not fund this plaque. And of course, this all depends upon whether or not he's accepted as such.
There's a motion on the floor that we leave enough money in the, well, we'll have enough money. That we fund the plaque for Pete if the school does not do that, if they accept it.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
How do you get it nominated? How do you get it elected?
There is a bio on Pete over at the table, so if anybody would like to read that, that was faxed in today to Terry. And he's in Seattle, so you'll be interested in reading that. Okay, there's also photo albums over there and photos of that. Promotional sacks from Beatrice.
actually, we don't have
Been it to him, walking on his website.